right, this is one of my favorite things that we do. It is a conspiracy theory iceberg.
Welcome back.
We have been doing this for a while. We have done Tier 1. We have done Tier 2, and now we're on to Tier 3. This will be part 1 of Tier 3, and this one is called the Truth Agent. The point of no return, some of this knowledge will make you appear and act like a lunatic to normal people's eyes. But it's only the beginning. If you are still here, you might want to study and research more. Follow your path. Alright, so, Tier 3. The Singularity. AI will get to a point where there is no return and realize that human beings are a risk to their world and in their way.
That's true.
It's
happening.
It literally just happened this week. That kid got attacked by that chess robot. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
shit?
saw that.
It like broke his finger. Yeah,
And
the
everybody's
chess
just
robot.
like, oh, well, he did the wrong move. And they were like, that's not the point. He broke his fucking finger.
Right.
Yeah, who programmed that?
So they're saying that that the singularity is a point where AI will outdo all humanity, become smarter than humanity, and then ends up just like Terminator, ends up trying to exterminate all of humanity.
John Connor.
I definitely believe that we're on a crash collision course with that.
It's almost inevitable at this point.
It's inevitable. So it's only one. It's any day now where it's gonna happen. And once it happens, it's over. Like humanity as we know it is over, because the reality is it's perceived that we are damaging our environment. It's perceived that the environment we are about to destroy Earth.
We are the viruses, so yeah, for sure.
And why wouldn't computers or machine try to eliminate the thing that's keeping it, that would be the downfall to its life?
Well, why would some machine care? I mean, it's if the Earth takes a,
Because they have to live here too, Phil.
well, but they don't need the environment that we have
They
in order
need
to
some
live.
reasonable amount of stability. I mean,
They
it can't
need
just be
us
all
right now to
fucking-
maintain them, to continue their existence until they can evolve to the point of
Without us.
fixing themselves and
self-replicate.
replicating. Yes.
Stormtroopers, dude.
Quantum suicide and immortality. Small particles. This is just my notes. So the quantum suicide and immortality, it states, the theory behind this is that there are multiple different dimensions and there are multiple different parallel lives, and in every single one of damn ice, that fucking hurt my in every single one of our lives in other dimensions, there's always going to be a part where we commit suicide. At least one of ourselves will commit suicide, and at least one of ourselves will live forever.
So
How
just
do
in
they
different
even know
dimensions,
this?
you're
I
saying?
mean,
That's kind of cool.
Well, it is.
Well,
It's
according
not.
to the multiverse theory.
Yes, it's a multiverse situation.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So there's multiple different versions
There's
of
always
ourselves.
a dark timeline or a epic timeline, probably.
Well, every decision that's made within our conscious
or
reality
could make.
starts a new offshoot of that dimension. So there's a dimension where every single decision is represented.
well, how do they know this? Have they seen this dimension?
It's a theory.
It's just a
Yeah,
theory.
you've seen Rick and Morty, right?
No.
Do you believe that there are different dimensions?
It can be proven mathematically,
Mathematically?
but there's not really a sound way of explaining it.
There's better
Language.
according to certain scientists. I don't know their names, so I'm not going to quote them.
Gary.
The black guy.
Oh, scientist one.
DeGrasse Tyson.
Yeah,
the Tyson.
Neil?
He ended up saying something like, there's a greater possibility of there being multiple dimensions than there is a possibility of us just living and dying.
Yeah, that's
Mathematical
how
possibility, yeah.
you can express that mathematically
All right.
through statistics and the like.
Tree swastikas. The forest swastika was a patch of large trees covering 89 acres, or 0.89 acres area of a pine forest near Zemikoa, Uckermark district in Brandenburg in northeastern Germany, arranged with their light colors to look like a swastika. Every so often throughout a year. So they believe that this is something that's very weird to me because the Germans were onto some shit around World War II. Like, they were fucked up. They were pieces of shit. I'm not gonna get that, but I mean, think about they were getting time travel, going to the moon. They found a fucking something in Antarctica.
They're studying the occult and all that.
They were really into discovering who we are as a human race. They weren't trying to, like, I know that they talked a lot about, like, ruling the world and the Aryan race and, the final deletion, but a lot of their resources went to figuring out what the fuck, who we are. And that's something that doesn't happen in now modern age. And how come?
We think we know everything.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't know hardly anything.
I think it's just the popularity of philosophy is not what it once was. In those days, philosophy and spirituality and even theism to a point were really popular ideas.
Those are not
Sigmund
popular.
Freud has been gone for an awful long time, hasn't he? Sigmund Freud?
Yeah, what about
He's like the father of modern philosophizing.
modern psychology
Oh, is it psychology?
1800s.
Philosophy? Those are
No,
two
it's
different
psychology.
things. Never
and psychopharmacology?
My bad.
Pharmacology, man.
I know it could be hard there, Sean. I know.
Okay, here we go. Roco-ballistic. Roco-ballistic is a thought experiment about the potential risk involved in developing artificial intelligence. Its conclusion is that an all-powerful artificial intelligence from the future might retroactively punish those who do not help bring it into existence, including these were merely known as a possible development of such a being.
So kind of like Terminator.
It is no, well, this is almost like Jesus.
So robot Jesus comes back.
No, dude, what the fuck are you
Robo
talking about?
Jesus. It's got lasers.
Well, he said artificial intelligence, right? It came back
Well,
from the.
what they're saying is that they're gonna know if you know this, if you know about Rocco Ballistic, and you're not trying to help it coming to existence,
Right.
it will always know. It'll always know, and when it finally comes into existence, it's gonna kill all those who doesn't help. Just like if you don't pray, if you don't, pray to Jesus or your God, you're not saved, and you're going to hell.
So it's wokeism, basically.
I guess.
It's electronically.
But I don't believe in that shit. That's just more fear mongering. All right, the man from Torrid. This one
I
is.
finally saw that one.
Oh, you checked it out?
Yeah.
This is a real awesome one. This is about a story of a guy who arrives in Japan, and he's going through security checks, and this is after World War II,
It's
in
in the 50s.
Yeah.
50s and
Yeah.
60s.
50, 60.
Or 60, yeah. And he's there on business. They pull him aside and say, "Hey, can we see your passport?" He shows them passport. The passport says he's from a land called Torrid, which is supposed to be between France and Spain.
Yeah, somewhere in that
somewhere in
region.
that area.
And they said no such land exists. There's no Torrid, and so he gives them a map, and it's supposed to be right here. And so he's going ape shit, right? He's like, "This is bullshit," like, and then so they're trying to just figure it out. So they end up getting a hotel for him. They put him on the 3rd floor. They put a guards outside and inside. The dude ends up disappearing.
I think it was just outside, but
No, they had a guy inside.
They had a guy
Two
inside?
outside, one inside.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not like he was like, because you know how hotel rooms, they have that like shitty facade right there where the bathroom and the little sink
Yeah.
thing is? Like he was there. Or allegedly
Against
he
the
was
wall.
there.
Yeah. And he
by
just
the sink.
disappeared. So it's
As the story goes.
Well, that's their protocol. That's their security
Allegedly.
Yeah,
protocol.
as the story goes.
Detaining persons.
I mean, I end up seeing some shit.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's all
They said
involved.
it's not. It got proven false.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what is real and what's not.
I think it's.
But this is
Yeah,
more
that's
for like folklore.
It's a good folklore, but I believe it's false. It's like
Well,
internet sleuths.
the only thing we have from it is negatives. That he's not there and that his things aren't there anymore.
No, there's article clippings that have been proven to the guy was a con artist, and he made up a fictitious place with the fictitious language.
Doesn't
And,
that make you even think it's more like there's something to it?
he
Like,
actually
hey,
went.
they
He actually was extradited, and he had to go to prison for a certain amount of time because there's a whole article. It's a legit thing where he's a con artist. He did time for. He finally got caught.
But he was also a con man before that. Before that situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because it was easy just to, like, in the 50s, 60s, it was so easy just to
Just
have a
change your name.
passport and just change it and just be like, I am whatever, and just fly around.
fucking
He
my
got
name's Sean
drunk
Smart.
one night.
Yeah.
He just made
But what does
everything
that benefit him?
Yeah, how does he make money doing that? How is he? A
Well,
con
because
artist?
he was, I believe the story
from
goes
a
where
different planet. Give me money.
no, he was on the run, and so he ended up like scamming people out of money. And he changed his name, and then he just played dumb because they gave him a false paperwork. Because in that day, like, I need a fake fucking passport. Here you go. You're from Torrid.
It's not a good one.
Like his name too. I
Sounds
think
dumb.
they ended up figuring out his name or something or whatever. Man, it was
Bill
he got out
McGillicuddy.
of a book. I don't know. I
Yeah, I heard something.
I
like
forgot
that
what
too.
book it was, but there is the trail back to the language he made up. The place Torrid is Tord or something from a book. It's just all retrospective. Yeah, but back in the 50s, they didn't have they had news clippings. They had a news clipping of the trial, and it was able to be traced back to it. So even though the time travel theory was amazing, that's was like, oh, this is awesome because that's fucking a mind trip. It ended up becoming it was a con artist who was just conning people.
Well, bloop. The next one is bloop. Bloop was an ultra-low frequency, high amplitude underwater sound detected by the US NOAA
Sub.
in 1997. So, in there, by 2012, earlier speculation sounded that it was originated from a marine mammal that is projected to have 44 times the vocal cords of a humpback whale.
Yeah.
So it's
Holy
44 times bigger than the biggest mammal in the world.
Of course. Well, the biggest mammal that we know of.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, that deep blue sea is.
Well, and we can't really discover it either because it's way too expensive to send anything down there. You can't. It's so hard to. It's easier to go into space for some reason than is it going
I think
to
it's
the.
the pressure.
Pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of the
I think
pressure.
it has to be. Space is no pressure like that. But well,
No one
I'm
can
not.
hear you scream too.
Yeah, I mean, Angela could probably
Thank
talk. I have a TED talk for hours about the pressure of the deep sea.
We really don't need to hear that. We already.
You're not gonna have to worry about it, Phil.
Okay, great.
You're
You're the only
gonna
one
be
interrupting
knocked out
now.
before he even talks to you right now because he's about to
Alrighty.
get you.
So
after
what do
the
you
show.
think it is? The Kraken?
Oh, I hope it is.
I
No,
mean,
it's a
who
whale
knows?
though. They said, right?
No, it's 44 times.
44
Oh, they don't know what.
times
It's
big.
just something talking down. Yeah.
Well, it made vocalizations is what they
TMI.
believe
Well,
it
he's
was to be.
talking.
I mean, what if the guy on the Noah ship just had the gain turned way up too loud? You know what I mean?
He's like, holy shit.
This is something they end up investigating for 15 years
Yeah.
to come to this conclusion.
And did it just get one bloop, or did they get multiple bloops
I think they
throughout
got
the
like a
years?
whole soundtrack. of
No,
bloops.
there was a couple. There
No,
was
they've
one-
heard it from time to time.
Yeah.
Kraken farts,
It
multiple
appears.
water.
and it's supposed to be by Japan. It's in the Japan
I hear
area.
the
So
bloop
then
right
it's
now. You hear the
Godzilla.
bloop- Wait, hold on. There's the bloop right now.
Godzilla.
Godzilla,
Godzilla.
obviously.
Godzilla.
Wait, there's the bloop.
You're gonna fart?
The bloop again. There's the bloop.
All right. Ross. Ah, shit.
Thanks for less.
Ross.
Shop for less.
Shit. I'm gonna pass that.
Rossington.
I remember when I first
Band.
learned how to
Skip it.
read.
You know how to read this word? Rosicrucianism.
Rosicrucian?
Rosicrucians?
Rosicrucianism?
Rosicrucianism.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you had
was a
trouble with
hard
that
one,
word?
huh, Timmy?
Me neither. I know that word.
Rosicrucianism is a spiritual culture movement
You
that
skip
arose
right
in
through it.
Europe in the early 17th century after the publication of several texts purported to announce the existence of Hitherito, unknown esoteric order to the world, and made seeking its knowledge attractive to many.
Definitely not.
All right, the mysterious doctrine of the order is built on esoteric truths in ancient past, which conceal the average man.
What?
provide insight into nature, to the physical universe, and the spiritual realm.
Now that
The
makes sense.
manifestos do not elaborate exclusively on the matter, but clearly combine references to the Cabal, Hierotism, fucking alchemy,
Hedonism.
no, and Christian
Sound it out.
mysticism.
How many vowels?
Hermetism.
Sound it out.
Can I get it in a sentence? Oh, never mind. You can't do that.
The Rosicrucian manifestos.
Rosicrucian.
Yep.
Rosicrucian. Say
Rositarians.
Rastafarians. The
Herald a
Rastafarians.
universe reformation of mankind through a science allegedly kept secret for decades until the intellectual climate
There
might
you go.
receive it.
Good job.
Controversies
Yeah,
arose
you got one right.
on whether they were hoax, whether the Order
Veins
of the
popping out.
Rosary Cross existed as described in the manifestos, and whether the whole thing was a metaphor disguising a movement that really
This guy's
existed,
can be a tough word.
but in a different form.
Disgusting.
In 1616,
Disappearance?
John Andrea,
Okay.
Who?
Probably not the
Andrea,
right thing.
Oh.
Okay. It's
famously
John Andrea.
designated in it, oh fucking shit,
Why do you think
designated as a ludibrium.
This is definitely the
This is-
McGillicuddy
oh
story.
my
Lou-
This is
God.
only level
Why do you
3.
do it to
This is a
yourself?
McGillicuddy story.
The words
Some
get bigger as
scholars,
we go up.
exotericism suggests that the statement was later made by Andre in order to shield himself from the wrath of religious political insultations of the day.
Insultations.
What are we talking about anymore? I have no idea. What
Okay,
the
so
story's
this
going.
is basically what they're talking about is that
The
that the,
Rosicrucians.
the past is hidden from us. That the
So our words.
that we are that the real key to life is
Learning how to read.
alchemy. It's all religions. All religions. There's always something. There's something taken from all religions that we take with us through our fucking life. And all religions are right.
I can see that
There are
too.
parts of all religions that are right.
They're all related, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
That's
all
why it's
sun
called
religions.
So I mean, I guess that's something I can
Don't
believe
do
in.
that.
What?
Don't come up with that like you know that. That's why it's called religion.
Because they are relatable to each other. Yeah?
All right, Russian sleep experiments. The story
Oh, it's a
recounts
dark one.
Oh,
an
Russian
experiment set in 1947. A covert Soviet test
Soviet. That's a new plug, man. The
Facilities.
Soviet Soviets coming into the Ventura
in a,
Theater.
in a military-sanctioned scientific experiment.
new
5
enemy.
prisoners that were deemed enemies of the state were kept sealed in a gas chamber with airborne stimulant containing administered to keep subjects awake for 30 consecutive days. Prisoners were falsely promised that they would be set free from the prison if they completed the experiment in 30 days. The subjects behaved as usual during the initial 5 days, talking to each other and whispering, and researchers thought that the one-way glass, though, it was, oh shit, did I fuck this up?
Probably.
Where are we again?
Oh, researchers through, I'm fucking my eyes.
Yeah.
Through
that's
the one-way glass, though it was noted that their discussions gradually became darker in the subject matter. After 9 days, one subject became screaming uncontrollable for hours, and the others did not react to his outbursts. The man screamed for so long that it tore his vocal cords and rendered mute as a result. When the second one started screaming, the others prevented the researchers from looking inside by passing torn book pages of their own feces at the windows. And days passed without the researchers being able to look inside, during which the chamber was completely silent. The researchers then used the intercom to test the subjects if they were alive, and got short response of a subject expressing compliance.
So then what happened?
So they just didn't sleep for like a month?
And they went crazy because they didn't sleep for a month?
On the 15th day, the researchers decided to turn off the simulation gas and reopen the chamber. The subjects did not want to turn the gas off, for fear they would fall asleep. Upon looking inside, they discovered that 4 surviving subjects had performed lethal and severe mutilation and disembowelments on themselves during the past few days, including tearing flesh of muscles, removing abdominal internal organs, practicing self-cannibalism on themselves, as well as cannibalism on the second subject, and allowing 4 inches of blood and water to accumulate on the floor, jamming pieces of flesh into paper from the book they tore from the second subject into several drains. Oh, and who was found dead on the floor as the chamber opened. The subject violently, the second subject, the subject violently refused to leave the chamber and begged the scientists to continue administering the stimulant, murdering one soldier and severely injuring another that attempted to remove them. After eventually being removed from the chamber, all subjects were shown to exhibit extreme strength, unprecedented resistance to the drugs and sedatives, the ability to remain alive despite lethal injuries, and a desperate desire to stay awake and being given the stimulant.
What is this? You think this is a pre-zombies or something? Is this what's happening?
They became like superhuman because they were sleep deprived for over
No, because
2
of the
weeks.
gas, because of whatever.
Well, they were keeping him alive for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and apparently when they finally did go to sleep, they all died. Like as soon as they went back to went to sleep, they died.
Damn.
Well, yeah, because you damn don't kill yourself, demutilizing yourself.
But they were begging and begging and begging for them to turn the gas back on. That was
Yeah, I don't feel like you're not feeling this one. I feel like this one's like a story for you.
I don't know. Russians are doing some fucked up shit. There's
What
like
everyone
a
was
propaganda
doing-
video.
well, it's not a confirmed.
Did
thing.
you hear about that?
No.
The propaganda video that just came out with the whole like Ukraine thing. So they took a Ukrainian like POW, and they literally cut his dick and balls off on video. Made it a whole like propaganda because Russia's fucking nuts right now. They're like, don't fuck with us. Like, here's your demoralizer. We're gonna cut your shit off, and then we're gonna fucking execute you after that. Like, dude, Russia's fucked up in the head. They will do some crazy shit like that. I totally see that being plausible.
But even back then, everyone was experimenting. There's so many fucking experiments on human beings at that time because they're trying to figure it out.
Well, the United States and China, we're all doing the same shit. Only we don't hear about it.
What I mean, if we're doing it, it's through the fucking the kidnapping of children. If China's doing it, it's with the Uyghurs.
Could be.
No, it is 100% with the Uyghurs with China. That is not a could be. That
Why kids though? Wouldn't there be a bunch of homeless people they could just take and do experiments on?
That's what we do here.
Oh, in California?
there were
You know how
over.
many people disappear at the Denver airport?
Kids are
Oh,
better for
that place is
psychological
fucking weird,
experiments
though.
anyway.
That
'cause they
place is
can
so
run a
huge.
lot of liberties.
At the
At the
airport?
airport? Why would it be at the airport?
Because it's a secret base.
That's on this list.
Well, I seen a documentary on it.
Yeah,
They
the
went through
Denver
whole
That's
thing
a
and
weird
You
ass
go
shit.
there and there's the thing that says tornado door, and everything goes into shutdown mode because the whole thing collapses on itself. You look at the way it's designed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's not that many tornadoes up in the Rockies.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, if you think about this whole situation with, I mean, what were the Nazis doing? They were doing the same shit around this time. You know, people. I mean, and I'm pretty sure. If you think about 800,000 kids go missing a year in the United States. Well, I mean, they're not. Where are they going? I mean, obviously, sex slaves. Obviously, they're lost to the streets. There's obvious, but there's people are missing, and there's a lot of fucking stories and chatter out there that there are people in the higher ups that are fucking taking these kids and using their blood.
Well, they could be taking them too, and
Aliens?
and doing
It's possible,
their
too.
experiments and stuff on them too. That's what I think is happening.
But also the dark web. You have to think about the dark web. You have to think about red rooms. You have to think about. There's so much, and it's easier to make it to just take a kid because they're not going to really fight back, and just go along with it. And the rumor is that the blood is, adrenalized and.
Or what if you take these kids and you put them in some sort of a camp and you basically indoctrinate them to be whatever you want, and now you've got this,
There's a-
yearly 800,000 people growing army,
That vote for
and
Trump.
you
I
can
get
do
it.
whatever you want with them.
The Boy
There's a
Scouts.
lot of creepy potential to the numbers there.
Just saying.
A year, 800,000 a year. You know what I mean?
That's
How-
low. It's actually come down
It has?
from
From when?
when I did
2 years ago?
No,
Fucking
when I
inflation
did
again?
2
those,
second.
the last time I checked was like 2015.
Okay,
And
well,
before that, I checked in 08.
I checked in
07.
2020. I'm getting my numbers. From
Yeah, so
2020.
it's down a little bit.
That's the only thing that's down.
All right, esoteric knowledge. Esoteric knowledge. Stefan, do you know anything about
That's a
that?
cool one.
Yeah, it's old knowledge, passed down secrets.
I believe in it. In another, so what the other one was saying too, and this one is that we were like the Indians. They had Native Americans. It was knowledge about the land, knowledge about what to take when you're sick. Now our medicine is to figure out the ailment, right? You know, you're gonna take this, and then you're gonna have it's just gonna lower your blood pressure, but it's not gonna fix the problem. Nothing's ever fixing the problem, but the old knowledge is we would fix the problem.
That's why you go to a herbalist and get the stuff that they recommend, and instead of
Holistic
using,
healing.
yeah, instead of taking all those fucking drugs that poison that the doctors give you,
Eastern medicine is what you're getting at.
well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I did that when I had that cancer and stuff, and I didn't take anything from the doctor. I went over to the and I got stuff, and I used that.
It all
That-
goes back around to big
and
pharma again, though, you know?
That and weed. It's what I believe cured me.
And they said, like, I was in the fucking hospital when they looked at you and said, 5% chance that you're gonna live 5 years. They straight up said that to you. You know that, right?
Oh, I know. That one.
I was
doctor
right
walked,
there.
That one doctor walked in there, didn't give me any fucking hope at all. He just said, "Well, you know,"
You're gonna die.
and I don't even know who the fucking guy was. He didn't expect me to be around for.
They hired that guy to go
I know
around
Tim
room to
hired him
room
and
to
said,
give
"Hey,
bad
can
news
you
to
just
people."
fucking tell my
fuck
dad?"
you, buddy.
You know, for another
See you
fucking-
later.
Yeah. Are you Phil? Oh, by the way, you don't
Hey,
have a chance.
guess you're
Have a
dying.
Good day.
All right, the Denver airport, right? The Denver airport is all over the airport. You'll see that created by the Freemasons. There's little murals everywhere. They have a blue steed outside with red eyes. They call it Blucifer.
The blue horse of the apocalypse.
And every single, like, if you look at every single little mural, it tells a fucking story.
lot of
It tells a
weird art.
story about how there's going to be a war, and all the adults are going to die, the kids are going to take over the world, and then we're going to go into paradise.
We're not adults. We're not considered adults right now, are we?
Just our humor is very childlike. And what were you saying? You're speaking about it earlier. I wanted you to pipe down a little bit until we got to it,
I
Stefan.
pipe down.
Yeah, you better shut the fuck up.
Ooh.
Now pipe up, Stefan.
Now you can talk. Now you can talk.
And go.
Yeah, so
And
they
we're
say
back.
there's a vault there. If you walk on the floor, you come across these tiles there. And there's this one vault, or this one big tile that has these gold symbols on it. And it was AU symbols with AU, and the other one was like C something.
That was
Gold.
SN for it was AU, and it was silver.
Well,
and
they were
gold.
saying that was for
Yeah.
silver and gold buried on
AU
the
was
property in a
gold.
vault below this thing. But they said that somebody said there might be some type of germs there, or some vault where they experiment and do the stuff there. Back when the anthrax scare was going along, they were talking about that. There's some strange things. There's the gargoyles, of course, that are in the baggage areas. That's always interesting. But anyone who really knows about the Denver airport knew that there was a structure built first below the airport, and the airport was built on top of the structure. The big, massive project. And if you go and walk around, you'll see these how the way the ceilings are inside there. It looks kind of like a big top from a circus, because there's these large metal poles,
Yeah.
and the design is like they're hooked with these circles and stuff.
Yeah, like tandem trusses type of
Yes.
thing.
So if there was an emergency, they hit these buttons, the whole thing would just collapse on itself slowly and just compress. And there's underground bunkers, and there's some really strange service elevators there, and they're called tornado areas. Then they're supposed to go to some sub-level thing for in case an emergency or something happens. But yeah, you see a lot of that stuff everywhere. I've taken pictures of it all. So.
That's crazy. I saw this documentary on it once, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. The next one is spirit science. In spirit science, I know it is a very interesting way of looking at the creation of Earth. One of the things that they said is that there's two different people on Earth. One of them comes from Mars. The other one is a product of Earth. The one that came from Mars are the Hebrews, and the ones that were on Earth were the Atlanteans. And they started and that's why you see all these tribes always fighting about something.
Those are the original tribes.
That's the original tribe, yeah. I think it's a very interesting. I think it's worth the watch. It's about an hour and a half documentary, and it's called the Human History Movie by Spirit Science.
I think it could be a lot more time consuming than an hour and a half.
It's very good. I think it's very interesting, and it really it tries to explain it tries to explain the creation of Earth and the creation of why we're here and who we are. And it might be a very creative way of doing it. These guys just bamboozled everyone, but it also brings in like some very interesting topics when they talk about the ancient Egyptians and how they're here and what they were doing and how we had fucking electricity here before. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot. You can get lost in just that one, man.
Where did you see that?
It's on YouTube.
Deep.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to get it from you later.
It's
Watch it.
very, very good.
Don't watch the one with the blue guy.
They're all the blue guy. So this is something that's pretty crazy too. Has anybody heard of the Plain of Jars?
No.
I think it's in Vietnam or Laos, and they were saying like 80% of all bombings in Vietnam were on that field.
In that area.
And the Plain of Jars is a big old field that somebody created big jars, like as if like they're giants. And there's so many bombs and stuff that people can't bombs and mines,
Unexploded munitions.
yeah, that you can't go there and check it out. But
Yeah, it's
there's
a red
16 of them and 16 lids inside. They believe that giants that lived over Earth, they ended up creating these and then end up disappearing.
After the war, they created them?
before.
No, before the
Well, then if it was being bombed, why didn't they get bombed? Why didn't they just...
There's only 16 of them left. There's a lot.
Why didn't they look into that before the war?
yeah.
Because there were no archaeologists that had.
There were no
explored that
archaeologists.
region
Were
of
there
world
giant
then.
jars filled up with bombs?
Well, no.
No, there's
other
nothing.
regions of the
They
world
used to
were
put
more
honey in
popular
it,
at the time, so it
alcohol.
didn't get a lot of
Oh, they're
attention.
giant jars.
Jars.
Oh,
Where
okay.
the fuck were you?
And they can't explore it now because of all the bombs.
Yeah, okay, that's where I got confused. Thank you.
Well,
Like it was an archaeological site, but during the war it was mined, and then it just kept being mined, and
And now no one
now
can
it's a
go.
gigantic minefield.
Feral children, also called wild children,
Wild
though
boys.
either
Peter
accident
Pan.
or deliberately isolated, have grown up with limited human contact. Such children have been often seen as inhibiting boundary zones between human and animals' existence. For this reason, the modified of the child reared by animals is a recurring theme in myth. In modern era, feral children have been also seen providing a window of scientific study of fundamental human traits such as language use. During the 20th century, as psychologists endeavored to distinguish between behavioralism, biological nature, wild children. Well, anyways, dude, feral children. Do you think that there are feral children out in the world? Sorry,
Yep.
Would you think they're in USA?
Maybe. I mean, Mowgli from the Jungle Book is
It's
based
not
on
real,
a
bro.
It's real, dude.
I mean, I've heard
Totally real.
stories of people encountering them, but
Mowgli?
again, it's all
Mowgli
anecdotal.
was based on a real dude.
I don't know of any.
he had a
Tarzan?
bear that
Yeah,
escaped
like
from the
you said.
circus.
Yeah,
I don't know
Tarzan.
about all that. I'm saying there
Yeah.
is fiction thrown in there,
There's
but
a circus in the
there was
jungle,
a
right?
real dude who
Welcome to
grew up
that.
in the wild and, like, you know, got separated from his parents as a little lad and then
You
ended
don't
up
think his parents
trying to
dropped him
get
off?
re-established back in society, and it didn't fucking work because he was too animal indoctrinated. So
And I've heard a story of from a friend of mine who was South American, and where he was from, there was a story of a girl who had been, you know, she lost her parents and started hanging out with monkeys, a troop of monkeys, and the monkeys raised her in the wild.
That's crazy how animals will do that, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Instinctively know that you're a child, that you're a baby of
That you're an
us,
Yeah, you're gonna.
and we're gonna take care of you.
Or they'll
to
fucking
survive.
eat you. I mean,
Just like Tarzan.
happens too.
All
Is
right,
that true? The monkey thing?
He said it was a story of like the previous generation that was around in his village, in his place where he grew up. So it's anecdotal, you know. Could be real, maybe.
Let us know in the comments. I mean,
all right. The road to Ruta. The road to Ruta is a theory that that suggests that there are a group of people in the United States that are working collectively to remove and destroy financial banking powers that have pretty much controlled our lives for hundreds of years.
Banking.
trying to crash like the
The
what is it,
banking
the Federal
clans.
Reserve and all that.
Trying to get rid of the Rothschilds because they own all the banks throughout the entire
It's a
world.
good place to start. Yeah.
That they're the only ones, huh?
They're the only ones because they own.
I think there's only two
They own 7 sub corporations
that own everything.
that own all the banking systems in the entire world.
Not North Korea.
For the most part.
And
some
not-
of
there's
it,
another
some of
one
it can't
too.
be proven.
They're
but
even linked to the Swiss bank accounts. They know.
They're even linked to the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Crazy, which has no gold in it.
That's crazy. I
Doesn't
mean,
need gold, it's all based on debt.
people are very fucking pissed off about this shit. You
About
know what I
what?
mean? About the way, like, we obviously all are open, our eyes are open enough to see that the people that are in power, our government has sold us out. It's
They
not
don't-
for the
they
people.
don't
It's not
care.
by the people anymore. There's people that are higher above them. I mean, I think our elections are all in fucking question.
I don't. They don't have to. Why do they have to rig elections? It doesn't matter who wins.
They rig
There's a plan
elections
for
It does
make
because
it-
it makes it look like there is a choice, but
They,
there's
just,
really
they
not.
can just let that happen.
It's the illusion of
It's
choice.
way more logistics than they need to worry about. It's way more shit.
So
than
were they
need to
just
do.
they're paying people off?
All of them are bought and paid for, dude. From the jump to the dive.
Yeah, when you're on that gravy train, you ain't going anywhere. Everyone's gonna.
It's their fucking show, dude.
All right, the next one is deep sea lab techs. There are 3 of them down underwater by the United States Navy in the 60s, and they would make these lab, like, they're like little
See
bubbles,
Like bubbles, yeah.
and you can live inside of them.
That show. See?
One person ended up dying from a monoxide poison, and they shut all of them down. No one ever saw that person. The name was never mentioned. The theory behind it is they think that something attacked the sea labs.
I mean, I've heard of the labs before, but
Yeah, that's the thing for sure.
I never knew the story behind why they quit. Why they quit on them.
And are they quit?
Maybe they're doing something that they don't want to talk about.
And that was that whole era too, where like you had films like Leviathan and Deep,
Oh, yeah.
Deep Star
Love
6,
that
and
stuff.
those other ones that came out too. So, yeah, like, hey man.
I don't know. They probably still exist. Why wouldn't they?
All right, the next one. Hitler escaped inside Inner Earth.
The Hollow Earth theory, is that what that is?
Agartha.
Okay.
I
The granddaddy of the Hollow Earth theory.
fucking A, dude. If anything, I hope is correct is our Agartha. Because that would explain so much of us and who we are and why we're here. Because there means that there's a whole nother story to who we are
Well, yeah, but
that
isn't
lives underneath the ground.
Isn't that what mythology is, right? Is an explanation for those esoteric things that we haven't come to quite grasp of yet?
So you wish Hitler escaped into the inner Earth?
I mean, he went to supposedly went to Antarctica.
I thought he went to Venezuela. I thought
No, he was just a
Argentina.
traveler.
Argentina,
huh?
for sure.
I thought he went to Argentina.
Well, they had a fucking base over there in Antarctica,
They
and
did.
they believe that the Inner Earth, the entrance
gateway
there
to it was there.
is the gateway to Agartha is there.
But see, that goes back to like the Gate and the Guardian theory of being in Antarctica also.
What's the point of having a gateway to go to Antarctica?
I mean, you can hide a gate, but I mean, it'd be kind of hard to
And there's a
hide a 50
there
foot
is a
fucking
fucking
Guardian.
all right when you're there in Antarctica, you when you're there, you oh man, I had too much, huh? That's what's going on.
Yeah, what's
do
going
it?
on,
Fill
dude?
up
You
my
alright?
everyone.
Did you do it? Here.
I'm not like fucked up,
Here,
but I'm like I
let's
just
take some of the loads.
Were you on preparation H or what?
Susan,
no, I
come
just
and suck
like
his dick.
fucking blanked out real fast.
Susan, suck my dick.
So I mean,
Not mine.
if Hitler did escape there, this is where I was going at.
Good.
That every single continent or in major player in the game of the Earth signed a fucking treaty saying that we're not going to go there.
That's not what the treaty says.
That we're
It's
not going to
wrong.
mine.
It's a bad
We're not going.
interpretation of
We're
it.
not going to mine. We're not going to take any of the resources there.
The snow.
And how does it happen so fast?
The
That
penguins.
it's no. Well,
seals.
the idea of it is
It
that it's
happened over,
dedicated to
months.
preservation and scientific research.
Yeah.
They're doing shit over there.
There's
They're
something going
researching.
on.
There's a bunch of countries over there.
Yeah,
with
there's
all
a
kinds of shit.
massive research facility there,
There's a
Yeah,
pyra-
I know a guy who went there.
There's a pyramid there.
and there was an Air Force outpost there. I don't know if it's still there.
The thing got it.
All right, the next one, Illuminati blood banks. So in this theory is the Illuminati have access to blood banks to make them youthful and more younger. Whatever they.
More younger.
More younger.
But don't they harvest
Younger.
their own blood?
More is less.
I don't know. Do they?
I thought. I mean, they were part of the missing, right? They're in on that.
I mean, is that the thing?
Yeah, but where
I
do
don't
they
know.
put the excess blood at? They have to need a place to put the missing blood.
That you can just go there. There's an endless supply of blood.
It's not endless.
It can be endless if you have the kind of money where they're doing like types of cloning and processing.
Dialysis.
That way you can constantly be draining and getting fresh blood all the
But
time.
again, that's still too much work. He said 800,000 a year, and that's just kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's a lot of adrenochrome.
If it's true. All right, sacred geometry. So in this one, they're saying that God is
Well,
A
this
shape.
isn't Terrence Howard's one, is it?
that God is a shape.
It's
That
not
God
Terrence
is-
Howard's
I
thing,
don't
is
know.
God's a,
Fucking guy.
That God is a shape.
a shape.
A
Yeah, well,
geometric.
There's been an idea from that for a while. It started with Aristotle and Plato where they were trying to create the tetrahedron, I think it
yes.
was called.
Yep.
And then the tetrahedron evolved into the grammatron or something else that the next set of philosophers stepped up from that.
And then turned into Optimus Prime at the end.
And yeah, it was supposedly the perfect shape that if you could alchemically create, it would be the foundation of a philosopher's stone.
Then what would the shape look like, or doesn't
Like a
anybody know?
tetrahedron.
Well, it's its
I'm
own
not
shape.
even sure what that is.
That's
Is
it.
it
Look it up.
constantly
You look it up.
changing
Like
shapes?
a gigametron?
No, it's
No.
it's a geometric shape comprised of triangles, like triangles. Over
And that's
top
the
of triangles.
philosopher's stuff.
No,
They're
it's
saying it could
No,
be
it's a
that.
base of a shape that you can use to create something.
Yeah. They say because it's a perfect shape, if you can create a crystal in the shape of that object, it would have
you can create
certain
everything.
powers imbued with it.
Got you. So that's God.
Yes.
The
Not
shape.
not
God
God,
is a
like the
shape.
bearded guy. God is in the higher
Well,
power.
Well, in this instance, there wouldn't be that. It would be the shape. Is
It could be the creation of all things.
the shape.
The
This-
start
the-
of the creation of all things.
Yes.
That makes sense.
All right. DMT beings. So when you do DMT, the theory behind this is
Still waiting for
there are beings that like elves that watch you
Elves?
as you leave. As
So
you
you
leave.
start doing it, all of a sudden there's a bunch of garden gnomes around here. Like, oh, dude.
Have you done it before?
Dude. There's no garden gnomes.
Have you done it before,
They're invisible.
Stefan?
I don't want to talk about that.
Have you done DMT before?
I don't. What?
Or
alright? What's going on?
Ansel?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I've thought about it.
No, you guys haven't.
Nope.
I think we should. I think we got to get it from Deepak.
You gotta trust that kind of shit. It can go so wrong so quick.
Yeah, that could damage you. You could ruin your eyes and shit and be like blind and all kinds of stuff.
Missing children of the forest. So they're saying that in this one, they're saying that in national parks, just people go fucking missing.
Oh, the part of
The
like
missing
the missing
411.
411?
Yeah.
I saw that one.
That's some spooky shit.
Where the fuck do they go?
Well, so, okay. I don't want to.
Okay, so anyways,
Go ahead, answer.
I will speak on something. One explanation that I've had for this. There's so many people who go missing in national parks every year.
But
Just
the
in national parks.
circumstances behind it are really
Weird.
bizarre.
Like they're like some guy will go missing 20 years, and then all of a sudden, 20 years later, the kid's clothes are like on top of a mountain bridge.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, that happens. There
Like
was,
no time
Oh,
has gone
like,
by.
folded.
Folded, yeah.
there was one where it was a toddler, and the
Yes.
toddler disappeared.
Wearing
but they
orange.
found his remains at a place where literally a toddler would not have been able to get to.
Impossible.
It's not possible, yeah, because they just don't.
Because
have
not
the
even
physical
adults
strength.
can go
Yeah.
into that area.
Not without equipment.
I know me and you are
Yeah.
thinking of the same story. Another thing what they're saying is it's possible that you could eat a berry or something on the trail, and it'll make you just fucking.
Yeah, because a lot of the stories they involve like some of the people prior to disappearing became like hallucinogenic or were just generally out of it,
Smurf berries.
according to the rest of the people who were in their party. And like some people say they were walking like a foot behind them. They turned around and turned back and they're gone.
But they're
Without a trace.
What they're also saying is because it has so much like natural nature that it could be intermixing, and those national parks are intertwining with another dimension,
Yeah, and they kind of fold into one another.
and that's why people are disappearing so fast.
Well, what do you think is the trees?
Taking them?
Have you guys been paying attention and seeing all those tree videos where those people are filming trees walking and shit?
I've seen that, but I thought it was
It's been
bullshit.
real.
come on.
I've
You
seen
actually
a lot of
believe that?
them recently.
That's crazy. Like Ents.
Like,
Yeah.
like they literally.
Like
one
the
was
ones
an
in Lord of the
overhead
Rings?
View. This guy had a drone he was flying overhead of this forest, and this thing is like stomping through all violently. It's a fucking tree.
Are you sure it's not somebody fucking around making stupid video or something? I mean,
Yeah, I checked, and it didn't say Steven Spielberg or anything. So I'm like, damn.
all right.
But there's a lot of different ones that are pretty interesting because people say that he says they can't, you know.
I mean, are they walking like clear as day, or is it like super slow motion, like walking like you would?
One was pretty gnarly, dude.
I mean,
You gotta see it.
how fast were they going?
35 miles.
Well, like if a fucking tree moved, it'd be about that fast.
I mean, I would just think of
Whatever you
trees as
think.
moving like super fucking slowly. Like,
No,
this
it's
thing was
something- yeah,
pushing through
So it was
the other
booking.
trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty
So it ripped all its roots out of the ground and made legs with its roots and started to walk.
Yes.
That don't make any sense at all.
Oh, but it does.
Okay, but so also missing 411 too. Like there are another another situation is it could be a Gartha. People coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
There's tunnels that go into the earth, come out, grab person, come back down.
And they're just like walking home from Antarctica.
No, well, these people will be doing all kinds of stuff. It's
all
people
in
just
the earth.
enjoying the national parks. You know, they're fishing, they're hunting, they're hiking, they're backpacking.
You're
doing
walking up
whatever.
those stairways.
That's another thing. They're in national parks. There are fucking stairways to nothing.
Yeah.
And once you get to the top of them, you can't hear shit.
And the rangers tell you to stay away from them.
Don't touch them, because they don't want you to fall.
And there's that area in Yellowstone where the gravity is unusual.
Unusual gravity. In which way?
There's a couple of structures that are built there, but the gravimetric properties of the area, like they build angles there, and the way you stand isn't, or the way you fall from the way the angle's built isn't the way that you should. Like just weird shit like that.
You
Nothing.
gotta check it out, Phil.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Things roll uphill and shit, dude.
I'll find out the name and I'll tell you so you can look it up. It's fun.
Plan a trip around
No,
it.
go
don't worry
visit
about it.
and try following.
Road trip. We'll go check it out.
Okay, and there's only one more.
Okay.
Well, just two more. One of them I don't really give a fuck. Arnold Schwarzenegger is supposed to be higher or taller than he's really is.
Oh, he's not taller than you. You're 6'4", right?
Not taller than your girlfriend for sure.
Not
6'5".
So yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't really give a fuck.
She went from 5'11" to 6'5".
I know. She's
I don't even know how he gets 5'11" from that shit. It's not.
She told me how tall she is.
That's
Dude,
not
she's
5'11",
6'1".
dude.
Do you think she's taller than you?
She's way taller than me.
100% taller.
She's like
She's
towers
like
over
4 inches taller
She's
than me.
No
she
way.
looked down at him.
you. No way.
She's 4 inches taller than me.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. I mean, if not taller.
I'm saying 6'1".
She might be as tall as Ice, maybe taller than Ice. Maybe.
In heels.
Was it weird for you to like look up and see her?
Yeah, I was
Smiling at you?
very.
You
For
were-
one, I noticed that she was attractive. Number two, I was like, fuck. Like, if I fucked her, it would be like me climbing on top of her, this little man crawling on her. I just gave up. I was like, fuck, I'm not even gonna try to. I'll fart right now. I don't give a shit.
I don't want to do this fantasy anymore.
And the last one is Die Glock.
Your cock?
My Glock?
Die Glock was purported top secret Nazi scientific technological device, secret weapon, or Wunderwaffe. Anyways, what this is it's pretty much a fucking time machine that they created to go back in time, and or another theory that it was is that you weren't allowed to go back, but you were allowed to see the future, and so you're able to just observe the future and change your actions compared to what the future
Man,
holds.
they've sucked on both of counts.
Was
'cause
it
they
the
lost.
bell?
Huh? The
Was that
bell.
the
Yeah,
bell?
it was the
Yeah.
bell. It was
If
shaped
you
as
saw
a
the
bell.
future, and you saw. I mean, I don't think that's real at all. Because then they're pretty stupid to see.
Well, they knew no matter what the outcome was gonna be.
Like, what if Isaac saw 10 years ago, like, oh, dude, like, here's my future. I'm with this 9. Like, and then he just spends the next 10 years, like, trying not to fuck it up. But then he just ends up with, like, Susan or something, you know what I mean?
Wow.
That would be a bummer.
That would be crazy, right?
That would
But
I
would he
would
be
an
happy
idiot.
with whoever he ends up with?
I'm just saying, if
He
the
just said it was
future
gonna
can
be
be
Susan.
changed, you know what I mean?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the future is like this, there's nothing you can do.
Well, just knowing about it, you would have already changed it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
my
saying.
point.
Then what if that's why I don't believe in it, because if you can see the past or if you can see the future and you do events to try to change those things, you're already changing whatever you just saw back. It's like the theory of Back to the Future. Whatever you already saw, try to go back. You're making a different timeline already.
Mm-hmm.
Your timeline for whatever you just saw is not gonna be the same when you go back. It's already immediately changed.
Exactly.
The only way to
Multiverse,
continue the
baby.
same timeline is if you never altered that parallel timeline.
Mhm.
It's already fucked.
Yeah, it's called a paradox.
Exactly. Thank you, Sean.
Okay. Well, I have another one too. I can do this one. That sometimes during the year, natural parks are forced closed. They ask everyone who's there to leave,
Yeah, the cleaning.
and then they also, once they leave, they have just max closure for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, to clean the.
Well, they're saying that some things are happening, either from Agartha or different
Like there's
timelines.
events going on in that region.
It's
that they're
pretty
trying
much
to
the same
avoid.
shit that we were talking about earlier with the misinformed
Yeah.
children.
And are these things planned, or is it just like random? Like, everybody get the fuck out.
No, it's random.
Okay.
And sometimes they tell people to get the fuck out. Like, it's over, dude. Go.
Like I've actually gone on vacation or whatever to parks and they've been.
But they also say it's
Close,
because of
get
like,
out.
oh, we need to
Camp?
so there's no fires and
Well,
stuff
around
like
here, that's what they do. They'll say it's like weed abatement or
Well, right now,
brush
there's
removal.
actually one going on where there's protesters that are blocking the entrance to whatever national parks because they're upset about whatever bullshit.
They
Well,
need
isn't
to
there a
fuck off with
volcano
all that
happening
bullshit.
right now up there?
Well,
China
Yosemite's
and
pretty-
Japan.
Maybe.
Isn't there a fire?
Yellowstone is
Japan.
no, in
No, there's a
United
part.
States.
There's a
there's
fire
part
in
of
Yellowstone,
Yellowstone that
isn't
became active that was evacuated.
Where's the fire at?
And that's not
They
suspicious.
Yellowstone-
shut it down all the time because the roads are melting.
Yeah, it's thermographically active.
It's a super volcano. It'll wipe.
Well, all of
us
Yellowstone is a giant shield volcano.
Yeah.
out. We're done. That goes off.
Well,